Hi. The question of invincibility. Why do some people seem invincible while others break under the slightest pressure? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not magic. It's mental strength. Most people never build it. They avoid discomfort. They chase quick fixes. They look for motivation instead of control. And then they wonder why everything feels so hard. Pressure hits. Something goes wrong. And they collapse. But not you. Not after today. Because by the end of this, you'll understand what real mental strength actually is. Not the kind that looks tough on the outside, but the kind that stays in control when things turn against you. This isn't about hype. It's not about feeling pumped. It's about building a mind that doesn't fold when pressure shows up. If you're ready to face that truth, keep listening. 2. The raw truth. Taking authority. Let's be honest, life has always been hard. It was hard for your ancestors who survived wars, and it is hard for you now. People don't break because life is heavy. They break because their internal structure is too weak to carry the weight. We love to blame our boss, the economy, or our past, but the truth is often much simpler. We lost the wheel. Imagine you are a pilot. You cannot control the storm, but you are the only one with hands on the controls. Most people, the moment they hit turbulence, let go of the wheel to cover their eyes and scream. They let their impulses, their fear, their resentment, their panic, take over the cockpit. Pressure does not create chaos. It reveals it. When the sea is flat, every boat looks seaworthy. It is only when the waves reach 10 feet high that you see which boat was built with integrity. Pressure removes the mask. What's left is either the truth of your self-command or the reality of your collapse. 3. The profile of the reactive mind. You can recognize a fragile mind by its speed, specifically the speed of its reaction. They move too fast. The moment an email arrives with a hint of criticism, they are already typing a defensive reply. The moment someone cuts them off in traffic, they are already shouting. They are like a dry forest, one tiny spark, and everything is on fire. Reactive people live with a constant, exhausting need to explain and defend. They need to make sure everyone knows they aren't the problem. But if I can make you angry with one sentence, I own you. If I can make you defend yourself with one look, I am your master. Every automatic reaction is a piece of your power handed over to someone else. This is the reaction mode. It's a biological loop where the primitive brain is running the show. They aren't choosing their life. They are merely reacting to it. They break in slow motion, one impulsive reaction at a time, until there is nothing left of their original authority. IV. Breaking the false definition of strength. Society has sold us a toxic version of strength. We are told that feeling nothing is power. But being a cold stone isn't strength. It's a trauma response. Shutting down your emotions is just another way of being controlled by them. There is a massive difference between a man who grinds because he has no choice and a man who chooses to move through pain with a clear purpose. Numbing yourself is avoidance. Suffering without awareness is survival mode. Working until collapse is exhaustion wearing a badge of honor. Real mental strength is the ability to feel the full spectrum of human emotion, the rage, the grief, the terror, and still say, I see you, but you do not get to drive today. Strength is the distance you build between the feeling and the action. V. The story. Power in silence. Picture a high-stakes meeting. A man is being publicly attacked. The words are sharp, designed to humiliate him. You can feel the oxygen leaving the room. Everyone is leaning in, waiting for the explosion. They expect him to shout back, to tremble, or to walk out in a huff. Instead, he does something terrifying. He stays still. He doesn't cross his arms or look away. He just watches the attacker with a calm, curious gaze. He lets the silence grow until it becomes heavy. He lets the attacker's own words hang in the air until they lose their sting and start to look pathetic. In that silence, the power shifted. The person shouting looked out of control, and the person staying still looked like the master of the room. You don't win by having the loudest gun. You win by being the one who cannot be provoked into firing it, Silence is not a lack of words, it is a presence of power. 5. Redefining a mind so strong. A strong mind functions like the eye of a storm. Total stillness in the center, regardless of the debris flying around it. When stress spikes, a strong mind actually slows down. It uses the adrenaline to sharpen focus rather than fuel a panic attack. When you are truly strong, you lose the need to look strong. You stop trying to win every petty argument. You realize your energy is a finite resource and you refuse to leak it into things that don't matter. You are no longer performing for an audience. The most important part of a strong mind is how it treats itself during failure. It doesn't self-destruct. It doesn't spiral into shame. It audits the mistake with the cold, precise eye of a scientist, learns the lesson, and stands back up. It stays grounded because its foundation is built on values, not on the opinions of the crowd. 7th, the power statement. Everyone is working hard. Everyone is tired. The hustle is not special. Grinding until your eyes are bloodshot is a commodity. Anyone can do it if they are desperate enough. Effort alone doesn't grant you authority. Composure, however, is a diamond. The ability to stay centered when your world is burning is what separates the leaders from the followers. It is the ability to look at a disaster and say, "Okay, let's begin," without a quiver in your voice. This is where the line is drawn. On one side are the people driven by the wind. Their mood depends on the weather or their bank account. On the other side are the people of authority. They have decided that their internal state is non-negotiable. One lasts, the other fades. Fade, the core tool. The pause. How do you build this? It starts with the pause. This is the space between a stimulus, the insult, and your response, the comeback. In that tiny gap lies your entire freedom. Most people have zero space. Stimulus response, like a light switch. But the mentally strong person builds a mansion in that gap. They step into that pause, look at the emotion, evaluate the consequences, and then choose their action. The pause is the moment you stop yourself from sending that rage email. It is the moment you breathe before answering a high-pressure question. If you can't pause, you aren't a person. You are just a collection of reflexes. Who actually scares people? Aggressive people are easy to handle. You just push their buttons and watch them dance. Force is easy to plan against, but the person the world cannot handle is the one who cannot be rushed. They are unsettled by the person who doesn't react on cue. When you refuse to get angry, you break the other person's script. They want you to explode so they can label you unstable. When you stay calm, you hold up a mirror to their own chaos. By staying in command, you remove their leverage. You become an anomaly. People get uncomfortable not because you are a threat, but because your silence exposes their own lack of control. Closing. Locking the title. A strong mind doesn't feel the need to justify itself. It doesn't rush to be understood by people who aren't even listening. It knows that its actions are its only true defense. This level of command is unmistakable. You feel it in the weight of their silence. It's not coldness, it's a density. They are heavy in a way that makes the flippant feel small. They don't follow the person screaming. They follow the person who knows where the shore is. Stand firm, then stop. This was never about pumping you up. Hype is a drug that wears off in an hour. This is about authority. Authority over your nervous system and the stories you tell yourself at 3 a.m. Authority is built in the dark, through small, silent choices. It's the choice to put the phone down, to listen more than you speak, and to breathe when you want to scream. You don't need to be fixed by a guru. You just need to realize that the controls have been in your hands all along. Take back the wheel for the next 10 minutes, stay in command, then move when it matters.